So when we launched the boat, there was a fair amount of water coming in the stern post. We expected the bow and stern to leak, because there's a lot of old and new material sort of joining back there. Some of it, old enough has now been out of the water for a couple of years. Some of it has never been in the water. And, lo and behold, we had a fair leak at the stern post. And over a few days, it was closing up. But just in an effort to get beyond that point, we had diver jump in the water, used a little bit of milk in a squirt bottle, which is a pretty typical way. You can see where the leak is by how the milk gets drawn up inside the crack. And then he put wax in there, which is not that uncommon in wooden boats, and packed that opening with some wax. They will swell, the pieces will swell, and they will become naturally watertight, and that wax will just squeeze right back out, and so it won't create any sort of structural concern. The boat's in the water. It's been in the water now for 2 weeks, and it's crunch time. So everybody's been all over it, starting sea trials, getting systems online, and getting it ready for a party.
Henry's just freaking out. He's like loving it. There's Henry freaking out.
The sea trial was, just a first introduction to us, getting off the dock and testing basically the engine and the steering. Those are the big things we were concerned about. We didn't go far. We went out for about 45 minutes, just up and down the bay here. Brought things up to temperature, checked for leaks in the exhaust system, checked for leaks in the cooling system, checked for leaks in the fuel system. It all checked out really well. So we were happy with that. We came back in and get the guys working back on the boat. We've definitely got the pedal to the firewall here. We repainted the entire salon in basically one day. It wasn't the initial intention to repaint the entire salon, but with new carpet and varnished table going back in there, and all new cushions and all new pillows and everything else, it was the right thing to do. So we put a good number of painters in there. They prepped like crazy, and we built a small spray booth out of the salon itself, and in one day got it all sprayed.
I'm doing a lot of install of a lot of little bits and bobs and pieces of all the little extra things that have been done last minute that are now have some stain and varnish on them, and they can go in for our big party tomorrow. Shakedown cruise was fun. It was nice to go out. The engine ran nice and smooth, and I was just installing things. I was just happened to be on the boat when we pulled off the dock.
Where do we go?
Oh, we're leaving. Oh, okay.
So we're taking the lifting boom. Well, the first step is to get it down on the floating dock. So we'll take about 5 or 6 people, we'll carry it down, we'll set it down, and we'll put these little chocks down on the ground. You want to try that end? I'll head on this end? Okay, great. Ready? So at some point, we're going to, I guess we're going to bring the saddle to the mast itself, then bring the boom up, bring it over, attach it to the saddle, be able to hold that in position height-wise, and then we can get the rigging to the spar itself, and then be able to lift the rest of the spar from the rigging lines.
Gucci, Gucci, Gucci.
It's really cool to see it up. It's a lot of weight, a lot of big pieces of metal being pushed around, run through the saws, get welded and ground and fit, refit and refit.
What do you think of this bronze work?
It's okay. I mean, it's not as fine as stuff.
Henry managed getting the boom on, you know, and Henry has his way.
Now I need you guys to get that on the spar, eh?
So, you know, we had a bunch of different things rigged up and a bunch of different plans, and it all worked. You know, it went up, but we're glad he took care of that.
That was quite exciting when the mast and the boom all got installed. And a lot of that stuff, we were working on the boat while that was obviously being built off-site. And George showed up and Henry showed up with it and stuff. And I wasn't really 100% on the front lines at all on how all that was going together. It was explained to me, you know, a lot of how it's similarities to a cat boat and stuff like that, which is cool. And but they did an amazing job, you know, George, and the fabrication and all that hardware, and it's very impressive, and it really takes that boat and just takes it to another level with all that really cool traditional rigging and stuff like that. That's all there. It's really special.
The boat is starting to look like it did in the old photos. You know, it's a good look. She looks like a, you know, harken back to her working boat heritage.
What are you doing here?
I'm just doing what I know how to do best, is clean.
Elizabeth shows up at this point in the project with the whole team. You know, blinds are going up and rooms are being cleaned and pillows are showing up.
I kind of come in at the end. I get the last of, I get the end of the budget and I get the end of the time frame, and then I've got to throw it all together. This is all fun for me to come in and do this, and the guys laugh at me all the time. They go, oh gosh, here she comes again with 9 million pillows. Why does she have so many pillows? Because we have to move them all and we have to worry about them flying overboard.
And she also has an enormous amount of great energy. I mean, she's in here, she's been planning and doing all this preliminary work while we're making messes.
Okay, so we try to figure out what we want to do with these blinds, and this room is kind of, you're in here and you're in a fishbowl, especially if you're at the dock and all of a sudden you're at a busy dock and you go to get dressed and you're like, yikes, everybody can see you. So, and also it's bright in here in the morning. So if you want to have it, we figured out, Kristen, this amazing gal we work with that does all of our blinds, figured this out for us. So we've got blackout for the bottom, it goes blackout down, and then you can have open so you can see everything, or from the top down, it goes light filtering. So it's kind of magic. You get the best of both.
Now the boat is getting closer and closer to, you know, being used by the owner. The owner has selected a captain. His name is Mac Topman. He's run boats for the owner before, so it's sort of a natural progression.
Right now, there's a lot of opinions on it. Eventually, I think what we'll end up doing is we'll duct in the exhaust on the other side of this bulkhead. Where it comes out of that bulkhead, we'll duct it in to the stack. And so all the excess CFM in here will be forced out that way. The exhaust has been mostly reused from the 671 to the new Cummins. The new Cummins, the exhaust temperature in theory would be much higher. The game here is starting with as few variables as possible and minimizing risk, and then sort of slowly using the boat more, figuring out things and sort of introducing more options and variables as we go.
One of the things Mac has been concentrating too is just, you know, getting familiar with all the systems on the boat and stuff like that.
He's worked with us here getting the boat ready to go, and you know, making sure that, you know, things on his list, because, you know, operating the boat sometimes has a little different priorities than restoring the boat. So it's nice getting his perspective and, oh yeah, we got to get that, we got to get that, we got to get that, and making sure that the boat is ready to, you know, get out of here and start operating for the, you know, wherever the owner wants it.
No, she's down there.
From working with Peter for years, I've learned very much that it's equally about the process and the journey as it is about the destination. And so, you know, it's daily communication with Peter, not only about what we're getting done, but about the challenges and the fun and the pursuit of success with it. The craftsmanship that's gone into the boat has been terrific. The decision making that's gone into the boat has been terrific. The future planning that's gone in has been great. And so really it's set a really solid foundation for the future.